publishing within reach is how they describe themselves, and showcasing Indian culture and history through their books is what they do. We are talking about Niyogi Books. I'm Reya Mehrotra from Financial Express, and we are here to see Trisha De Niyogi, CEO of Niyogi Books and second generation publisher.
Tumultuous. We've seen the best of times and we've seen the worst of times. We've just gone through COVID when we had seen the lowest of everything that we have seen so far. But then we had seen great days of how the market was proliferating and how things were, how the book reading market was growing. It's growing again now, not that it's not, but yes, you've seen the ups and downs in the last 2 decades, and it has been interesting. It has not changed much, but it has changed significantly as well. When my parents started Niyogi Books, there were a few players who were publishing in the large format illustrated book segment. But there was always a need for another publisher, and that is why perhaps we entered and sustained ourselves over the years. But now, in the middle, again, it was believed that the market for illustrated books was dwindling. But now we've seen again it's growing faster than ever. Today, I stock out illustrated books in 3 months. I have done that. Now, that's not true for all books, but many of our titles have really stocked out within 3 months of publication, which was different earlier. But now we have seen this demand grow significantly for illustrated books. Also, when my parents started, translations was just coming in. In 2019, we started a separate imprint for translations. So we have our imprint is called Thornbird, and it's only for translated fiction from Indian languages, almost all, to English. First of all, we need to know for every 5 multinational publishing house, there are 50 niche publishers in English and other languages. And these independent publishing houses are actually the first movers in a lot of different things. A lot of innovation happens at these independent publishing houses. And it is difficult, but at the same time, complementary. We need all kinds of publishing houses to actually have a very prolific industry. Now, there is a problem of, say, high advance royalties which are given, which independent and small publishing houses like us cannot afford, right? But that's like one of them. I don't think I've really dwelled much on the difficulties I face due to an MNC, but we have our own problems. An independent publishing house has its own challenges, not problems but challenges. For example, we always have a problem of finding the place in the market, visibility, but we are always fighting for it. So we are always doing the needful, trying to reach out to as many places as possible. We started a signature bookstores of ours. We have a Niyogi Books signature bookstore in Kolkata, wherein we wanted to showcase only our books. That comes with any challenge, you have to innovate, and that comes naturally to any independent publishing house. Of course, there is a problem of, say, resources. We're always short of resources. So many a times, our job roles are not really streamlined or linear. We have to play multiple roles to get a job done. But that is actually benefit for us as well. We kind of understand the other avenues or other fields or other departments work also very easily, and that helps us to sync everything together, and that what really helps. During the lockdown, I've heard this thing from several people. Agility was something that independent publishing houses show. uh, because of the small size, we were more agile than multinationals. And that was again a perk. Uh, Perhaps I'm a very optimistic, a hardcore optimist, that sometimes I uh, do not take note of the challenges that we are facing, perhaps also because we are all enjoying working in this space so much. That is not really a problem, that's a competition, which is a good competition, which constantly pushes us to also strive for the best. Now, it is natural if you are getting higher advances or higher visibility, you will gravitate towards that. But we have to understand, we are not comparing the type of books that we are doing, right? When it comes to an illustrated books, I would perhaps be able to give a larger visibility than an MNC perhaps, because this is our offering, this is our niche. So if you see, our niches, our brands also help us to get that kind of visibility, that kind of credibility. If we are publishing, if we're thinking of art, in India, they will come to us today to look to our brand, to look for art books, right? So it's not just about the visibility on Amazon or the or other avenues like maybe certain bookstores, but it is also the visibility of the brand, the niche of the brand, the speciality of the brand, the expertise of a brand, which also plays a great role in increasing visibility. And I think because most publishing houses are quite specialized in their offerings, and this is the age of specialization. And that works for us, that helps us mitigate these problems as well. And many big authors, we don't have small authors, the small young authors, we do have young authors, debut authors, but we also have very famous authors in their own right, in their own fields. So first is commissioning. I intend to commission more work in this sphere, and we've started the process. We have at least 10 new titles to be brought out in the next 16 months. A lot is already in progress. But we're also trying certain new ways of presenting our book. Yeah, we've been slow in that respect because creation of audiobooks is very capital intensive and requires a lot of expertise. So we are constantly getting into it, experimenting. We have started working on this segment already. But what we have already adopted easily and well is the podcast. We have started doing a lot of podcasting. We have started using a lot of audiovisual element for promoting our books and things like that. So that's not very difficult. That was easy for us to adopt. And we started it as soon as the first lockdown happened. Within like 5 days, we had started using these kind of technological tools that we had to promote and talk more about books and things like that. We specialize in large format illustrated books. We don't do coffee table books. We do illustrated books, which are 60% text and 40% images of any kind, which illustrates the text. So that is something that we specialize in, and that is one of our offerings that sets us apart. I think our production values are improving. Over the years, we've been able to work on a production of our books so that we can actually give more of an experience from reading these books. Now, more and more of us are gravitating towards e-books and the likes of it. I get very excited when I'm meeting all of them. But children's book is an extension of our illustrated books. So it comes naturally when it comes to the production. But what I focus on or want to focus on is breaking stereotypes. I am focusing on publishing more books in the space of mental health, or breaking small stereotypes, like say, how do we treat our pets, and things like that, but not in a very pedantic or very didactic manner. I want to be fun. For example, there's this book that we are working on. It's called My Poo is the Coolest, which tells us how important your every poo is and what is the significance of these poos are. Now, it has its own interpretation, as we can talk about nature. That's basically nature, right? So in very fun, entertaining way, I would like to present these thoughts which come to my mind as well, to be able to make a difference in their own small way. You have to start with these young. I am glad I was taught a certain things in a certain way by my parents, and hopefully I can do that as well. And most of these books are in translations, most, not all, from other international languages plus Indian languages. So we have got a mix of things. Of course, we have been a little slow during the COVID, but hopefully by this year we'll be out with at least 20 titles by November, by Children's Day. So let's see, fingers crossed. There have been a lot of things happening over the last couple of years, and our margins have really shrunk. From paper costs going really high to the logistic rates, which are expensive for publishers to actually do anything. If you weigh a book, but if you have to give a weight of a book, it'll be around 2 kgs, 3 kgs, and you will do the same kind of measurement across industries. If it's say a kurta, right? It'll never weigh that much, but it may cost the same, right? It may be the same pricing, but it'll never cost the same. The logistic rate of sending across a courier or anything of a kurta will be much lower than that of a book, because it has weight, right? Physical weight is so much. So for books, we would request that if you could get concessions for books to be sent across, because if we are only measuring the logistic rates on the basis of the book, it's always going to be high. And then then the price of the book will also go up. If we can reduce that cost, for example, we have book mails in the US, wherein the books gets subsidized rate. If we can get that kind of logistic support or the last mile delivery support, perhaps that could be a game changer. Of course, there's other things like GST that we have to pay and things like that, but that can all be worked out. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.